and welcome to all of you. This is another Tuesday, and it's with Pastor Brian again today. So Pastor Ben is still in Wisconsin. Hopefully he's getting some time with family. I saw a few pictures that he is out enjoying some of the rainy, cool weather up there, which sounds kind of nice. I hope you're staying cool wherever you are at, but able to enjoy the day somehow. I know I've been, for me, it's just been struggling, especially with my kids, trying to find enough things to do where they've got a ton of energy, but when we're kind of exhausting our neighbors, knocking on their door and asking if we can swim in their pool again today. And but you know what, that works. And I think yesterday had all the kids together from the neighborhood, all in one person's pool, and they were spinning around it as fast as they could, trying to make a whirlpool, and just a blast. But as long as nobody gets hurt and you can somehow survive the 120 degrees, we do what it takes. But looking back on this past weekend, we had a wonderful experience in worship again, continuing this KCLC sermon series. And so I really do love this sermon series in the fact that I look at songs that for the most part, I have grown up with, and it's been music that has been present. You know, you turn on the radio, there it is. But then at the same time, you can go back and really look at some of these lyrics and look at what is being stated, and wow, that's been valuable. That's been wonderful. And so I've enjoyed that. We were blessed with Sam Holder this past weekend, and wonderful to have him. And again, looking forward to this coming weekend. There's all kinds of things going on, and seeing what God is doing. But with that, I think since it's just me, I think we better just dive in. No update from Pastor Ben. He's having some trouble getting some stuff downloaded and figuring everything out. But if we can go to that song. Well, this song is actually not the KCLC song, but it was a choir piece that was sung at 9:30. And the choir's been working on a number of different things, and it's been fun to see them brainstorming, and they'll come up with a new song, work on it, and then the choir is just like, they're looking for more. and what else can they do? What else can come next? And so I love seeing that spirit. So this was the choir piece that was done just this past weekend. So let's dive in and go to that now. To God Be the Glory. And we heard a few songs mixed in there, but that arrangement by Joel Ranney, I believe. And I don't know too much about him, but a lot of familiar tunes that got put together in that arrangement. And the arrangement features, though, this theme of glory, and taking a look at what it means to see God's glory, to live in God's glory, to offer that up. Excuse me. So that word glory, though, it's an interesting word, and it's interesting for me at least, to look at some of the history of some of these words, where they come from, because if someone were to say to me the word glory, I don't know what I would think of. I mean, it's in some ways trying to pin down what that actually means. I mean, I guess I would have an image of my head of maybe somebody with a halo and they're kind of shining or something, radiating in some way. But to pin down what does that word mean? Where does that come from? What is it that we're, to God be the glory? What are we saying about God right there? It just mean God is shining brightly, in some passages maybe. But I wanted to just look at that and offer just a brief reflection today about what that word glory, what that might mean, what we're taking a look at there. So in Hebrew, the word is kabod, and that word actually, it's kind of a weight measurement, meaning kind of it's heavy. And at times it's associated with your liver, which I guess they considered one of your heavier organs. So, fun fact of the day right there. But that weight, that heaviness, there are times where it's used. I mean, it's the same word that we would consider glory, but it's used at different places. In one place in Psalm 38, it says, "For my iniquities are gone over me. As a heavy burden, they are too heavy for me." So there it's seeing what we would say the word is glory, but it's used there as a term of heaviness, that it's something holding me down. It's this weight, that a weight of sin in this particular case, which is an interesting way of looking at it. And then it can also mean, in other places, it means this word wealth. And so if you have great wealth, if you're heavy with wealth, in Isaiah chapter 10, where will you go for help? Where will you leave your wealth? Wealth is a heaviness. And there it's once again saying it's a heaviness that weighing you down in the wrong way, right there, and seeing it as something that it holds us back, and in that case, it's how do you let it go? In the book of Job, in chapter 6, and Job, if you don't know this story, Job is a story of an individual who is portrayed, because it's really more of a parable, right? Like it's a story that teaches a point. And in this parable, the idea is, hypothetically, there's this person who does everything right. Like they're trying and doing everything right, but absolutely everything wrong happens. All the wrong things happen, even though trying to do so good. The worst outcomes kind of arise out of it all. And so it's just this person, Job, is just struck down over and over and over again. And he says, if only my anguish could be weighed and my misery placed on the scales, it would surely outweigh the sands of the sea. And so, again, it's this, something's holding me down. And Job certainly felt that in that story. And it's meant to be a story that we can all empathize with. When sometimes people will tell us, oh, what did you do? What did you do to deserve that kind of suffering you're in, that kind of pain you're in? And Job is meant to be this story of he didn't do anything wrong, but yet he's feeling this weight and this burden that's been laid down on him. And that's certainly, I mean, if you're looking at the origin of that word, how that word has developed, seeing it in its earliest context, it's not something I'm too familiar with. We don't usually recognize glory in that sense. But then the heaviness right there, it's pointing to something, that there is something deeper beyond just what we can see. And so when it starts to come as this heaviness or this glory of God is in the cloud, or it's in this, the Israelites are trying to follow this cloud. They're trying to, or a cloud comes upon a mountain and Moses is in this cloud. There's a heaviness to it. There's a depth to it that he's in the true presence of God, but he can't see the full presence of God. It's more than just what you can see. There's a certain depth to it. There's a deeper meaning behind it all. There's more going on right here than just what meets the eye, just what we can see. That God is fully there, but it's like all our human senses. We can tell that there's something bigger. We can tell that there's something more, but we're just it's this point where we just have to open ourselves up to it. And that's where this meaning kind of shifts, and having this kind of understanding of, okay, what are we going to let weigh us down, or what are we going to let pull us in and hold us there? Because we can let the weight of the world, we can get lost in that, and we can think, that's all there is. But then there's when we talk about God, there's a greater weight to it. There's a greater depth. There's something there that even when we can't see it, it's trying to just open our hearts and experience something deeper. For the people in the Bible, like Moses, who go up onto this cloud, or onto this mountain where there's a cloud there, there's a heaviness that he just kind of lets wash over him and just experiences that moment. And as we look to the New Testament, the word glory shifts to a Greek word now in the New Testament, and it's doxa, where we get the word doxology, and it's often translated as praise, a praise song, lifting something up in praise. But it also has this element of there's this greater depth to it all. So when Jesus is born, the glory of the Lord shone around the shepherds. There's something deeper there that the angels are open to experiencing. And it's shining in our world around us. And we often see that in the New Testament. It has this image of what I would consider much more of that. Something is shining, something is radiating, but it still has this incredible depth. It contains a lot. And to say that it contains a lot of emotion, a lot of all the feelings, but it's something deeper. And so today, just that brief reflection on, for you, in our lives. I mean, we can get caught up. I know, at least I do. Even walking to leave church today, and it's going to be 1,000,000 degrees outside, and all you can think about is the weight of that moment, and just lost in that. But to realize that true depth, truly going deeper, truly experiencing the depth of what's out there in this world, the weight, the meaning of this moment that we're in, that it's so much more than just the mundane little things, the small little moments, that God is actually in a bigger way. If we open our hearts, we are in the presence of God. We are in the glory of God, but how little time we take to actually see that. And what would it look like to open our hearts to the depth of this particular moment, of how God is shining, of how God is working in our world. And so to see that, to find that glory, That's to me looking for God everywhere we go, and not just looking for God, but just opening all our senses and to even beyond what we have in our senses, but just to have that feeling of trust, knowing that God is near. And so that was maybe a little deep for a warm Tuesday afternoon, but you know what? It's a lot of the some of these words that we throw around, words like glory, and how much there is on some of these little things that we, I don't know, just take for granted, or we say all the time, but realizing, you know what? There's something more that throughout the scriptures, it's meant a lot of things, and today we can open our hearts to a greater meaning in a lot of different ways. So with that, I'm going to keep it short and sweet here for you today, but we're going to turn it over to Philip here to close us out.